Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So welcome back. I wanted to share an update on Big Brother Season 24, BB24. So if you're interested, keep listening. Okay, so I haven't spoken with you guys in a while now, right? It's been a few weeks since the season started. I really haven't invested time in watching the feeds since my first live feed update. I really couldn't stomach how they continued to treat Taylor. I was enraged, to be honest. And a lot has happened over the past couple of weeks, yes. I started watching the feeds yesterday or the night that the Leftovers Alliance were formed. That's when I saw some things on Twitter, and so I watched that alliance form, and I've been watching ever since. I think it's only been like a day and a half. I kept up with what was happening through Twitter, but I really had a hard time watching up until the Leftovers Alliance because I just couldn't stomach what I was seeing. Now, today's feeds, they've been chaotic. Especially after the renoms. And let me just back up a little bit. All right. So we know that right now Turner is HOH. He nominated Michael and Brittany. There's this besties twist where the house guests are playing in pairs. Low key, when I saw this on the episode, I thought, look at production trying to capitalize on Tiffany Mitchell, that is the mastermind behind the cookout in BB23. I said, look at production trying to put a twist on her strategy. Only you can't really replicate her strategy, right? And I'm not sure it's proven to be a good twist as of yet, but we'll see. But anyway, they have this besties. All right, so Michael and Brittany are on the block. They won the veto, or they are besties, right? So they nominated Michael and Brittany. They won the veto and they pulled themselves down. Turner then replaced them with Amira and Terrence. Amira and Terrence are besties. Amira is the target, and in all honesty, I think this is a good strategic move. It's a good move. I don't care for Amira at all. I don't care for the cast, to be honest, except for Taylor. The hate fest against Taylor for no reason, the bullying, the mistreatment, her crying alone, that was very upsetting for me, very triggering. And I just couldn't watch it. Anyway, the creation of the Leftovers, I think is great gameplay. But the length of time it's taken for the people to realize how crappy they were as fellow humans punching down on Taylor, it just took a little long for me. I almost gave up on the season. I honestly feel production had a hand in planting seeds, to be honest. I refuse to believe that Joseph and Kyle all of a sudden had an epiphany that, hey, the way we're all treating Taylor is horrible. I think they had help getting to that place. Right now, they're looking like the quote unquote hero, right? And on some level, maybe they can't. On some level, maybe they are, right? In a sense that they decided to do what's right. They just needed a little help with that. And I think production really did step in, to be honest. But I don't know. I'm not in production. These are just my thoughts and my opinions. But all of these people, all of the house guests, I felt were complicit, even Michael and Brittany and Kyle, because they stayed silent for a long time. I think their conscience may have gotten to them, and I'm hoping that's what it was, because that means they aren't mean people, hateful people, right? Maybe they just didn't have, or they weren't brave enough to stand up, or didn't know how to do that quite yet. But it took a long time and it was hard to watch. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. The first few weeks that have gone by, it really put a bad taste in my mouth. Again, with Big Brother. It's like I felt there were strides and then Taylor, and it just upset me. But we'll see how long this turn of events will last, right? Everybody's coming to their, or what was the term? Everybody's found religion now. So they're treating her like a human, but we'll see how long that lasts. And I am one to watch and see. People like to get on the bandwagon, right? Especially with this cast, they're followers. So now that it's the right thing to do now, and they're concerned of how they're viewed. Now everyone's, following that. Okay, well, maybe we all should treat her well. We'll see how long this lasts. All right, anyway, back to the chaos of today. The leftovers made their move in the game. And the leftovers are Turner, Kyle, Joseph, Monty, Michael, Brittany, and Taylor. I think I call all of them. By the way, I also think it's important for me to mention that I also haven't given up on the season because Taylor is still there and she wants to play. And that was important. That was an important space for me to get to because she is the one experiencing the bullying and just being treated so terribly and just horrible treatment. She's the one experiencing it and she still wants to play and have the chance to play and, try to get a good experience out of the Big Brother game. She's trying to make corrections where she's done nothing wrong, but the type of person she is, she's tried to make corrections. And me seeing her do this, and reading it on Twitter, of how she's trying to do this, I said, well, if she wants to play, who am I to say, I'm not going to watch because I can't stand what's happening, right? So I'm going to continue to watch the season as long as she's in it. And I'll root for her. I can't wait till she leaves the house so she can learn how much fans love her and was supporting her throughout all of this. And to see how many apologies she's given that she didn't really need to do that. And by the way, let's all vote for Taylor for America's favorite player. All right, the leftovers made their move and it caused chaos for a good 2 hours before I decided to record this. There were real tears, there were fake tears. Jasmine was scooting around on her wheelie, squeaking. Terrence pretty much accepting his fate of going home in the game. Only, little does he know, the plan is for Amira to be voted out. We saw the Rugrats have a little falling out, where we learn that Daniel gets abandoned by every woman he's ever dated and every person in his life. We learned this after he and Nicole had their little argument and Nicole told him she needed space, yet he observed Nicole talking with other people. So that made him feel a type of way and it triggered some type of trauma he experienced in his own life. And that's where we learn, how it's happening with every woman I've dated. Every year. And I'm like, okay, there's some things that were coming out with Daniel. I'm like, you're sharing too much. He needed a DR session at that time. I'm not sure he would be comfortable with knowing all of that was shared on the live feeds. It's just something else. And he told Nicole not to yell at him and don't stand up. It just was something else to watch. Alyssa broke down in tears and apologized to Nicole for having loose lips because she was saying things and repeating something that Nicole said in front of people that were outside of their alliance. And when Alyssa apologized to Daniel, he said, I don't care. That was pretty funny. Jasmine, again, she's scooting around trying to get to the bottom of everything. And she's a real one. And it's so funny because I noticed when she was so mad, her accent faded. I knew that was a fake accent. I've always felt that. I think it's very pronounced and put on when she's in that DR, right? And we see that air on the show. But I feel that accent is fake, right? Brittany is in the room with the girls, which, by the way, they don't treat her well either. And that's really bad as well. But Brittany is not really convincing, at least to the fans, right? Because the fans, we know what's going on, the live feed watchers, right? But she's trying to convince the other house guests that she didn't know what was going on. And remember, she's part of the Leftover Alliance, which executed this part one of the plan. Oh yeah, when they first returned the feeds, we saw Indy in the bathroom crying hysterically and putting a wet paper towel on her neck because she was literally ill over the renoms. She says she threw up. Amira, she's cried a few times. She's verbalizing that she thinks Terrence is going, but Amira is not dumb, right? She's logical, and I think she has a good read on what's going on around her, right? And that's why I was slow to forgive her and how Taylor was treated, because she knows that, well, she knew, all of them knew. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent on that again. But Amira is crying. She's verbalizing, yeah, it's going to be sad that Terrence goes home. But I don't think she really believes that. And that's why she's so upset, because she knows her game is in jeopardy, right? She's just looking for confirmation for somebody to either slip up and tell her, or somebody to straight on tell her. But if this keeps going, it's going to look like part 2 of the plan that they're going to execute, and the execution is that they're going to vote her out. It seems like they're going to keep that as a blind side. When the feeds came back this afternoon, they came back with a vengeance. It was drama filled. As a fan, I thoroughly enjoyed the strategic move and the execution of the plan. Turner told Daniel right before the noms and seeds were planted, where now everyone outside of the Leftovers alliance are falling apart. And on top of everything, I think the most exciting thing I've seen was how much Taylor enjoyed eating her chips in the backyard and smiling and chatting it up with everyone, right? She was socializing. She was included in the conversation. And this is all we wanted to see for her for day one, right? She didn't have that from the start, or she wasn't even given a chance. She was unfairly labeled by Paloma. Yes, by Paloma, who started the hate train, and all of these followers kept it going. Shameful, and they all should be embarrassed when they leave the house. And again, as far as Joseph and Kyle, they really are the ones that have turned this around. They finally grew a pair and decided to stop the hate because it was wrong, right? And they know this. And I think they had help from the DR, to be honest. I think production helped them in getting to that place where it's like, yeah, we need to speak up on how Taylor's being treated. It's wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Kyle. I think he felt bad from the beginning, but I really have a problem when people stay silent about things like that. So anyway, either way, whether if Joseph and Kyle came to their senses and realized that how Taylor was being treated was wrong, or if production stepped in and planted seeds, either way, we're here now. Taylor's in the game. She's getting to play. That's all she ever wanted. We as fans are excited about it, right? The rest of the chaos and the mess that's going on in the house now it is enjoyable to watch. There was a strategic move made by an alliance that was formed, and it was good BB gameplay. I do feel for Amira, especially when she cried. She's a human, but be clear, we are seeing karma unfold. You better believe that. So over the next 2 days, we'll continue to watch. I hope this shakeup really evokes more strategy and something other than bullying, And from what I see, a lot of these folks are now rewriting history. That's also annoying. It's unbelievable, right? Because they're like, well, we never did that. Yeah, they'll see this when they all get out of the house. And BB Twitter is known to be really tough and will bring the heat. So they will hear it, I'm sure, when they get out of the house. And quite frankly, I hope they are embarrassed and they all owe Taylor an apology. There's what I wanted to be was a quick update. Oh, I'm going into 15 minutes. I didn't want to make that long. So again, the Leftovers have executed part 1 of their big move, which is putting Amira and Terrence on the block. Amira is the target. Part 2 of this plan is the 6 players in the Leftovers alliance to vote out Amira. Right now, the people who are outside of that alliance thinks that they still have the votes to keep Amira. So from what it looks like, another blindside is coming. So we'll see about that. All right. I also wanted to be clear. I wrote this note because I wanted to be clear. In my first update of the season, I said that I like Nicole, and I think I said that's it, or that's all. Well, I have an update on that. I don't care for Nicole. I don't like any of the cast, to be honest, except Taylor. I'm rooting for Taylor. If she doesn't make it, she has my vote for AFP. I do have space to root for Michael to win if Taylor doesn't make it. But I'm even looking at Michael funny because he stayed silent those first couple of weeks, which was very disappointing. He's turning into this veto king and channeling, what would Janelle do, which I think is pretty cute. But I'm only rooting for Taylor. Michael is the second. But I can forgive, especially now that he's trying to make amends. Kyle and Brittany too, for that matter. I think they're really trying to make amends. And maybe Joseph, but he said a few foul things in the first 2 weeks. So Joseph has a little ways to go with me. But after them, and them meaning Michael, Kyle, Brittany, and Joseph, after them, I'm not rooting for anyone. I'll watch as a fan, and that's it. So let's hope we continue to see strategy, drama, yes, but game-related drama, right? No bullying, no more mob rule, no more punching down on people. It's just not a good look. By the way, the guys have shifted this game back into their favor, right? The girls really would have had a chance had they really found value or saw value in both Taylor and Brittany, and they didn't. That's unfortunate because they really had the upper hand. But now the guys have really shifted this, and it's going to be, we'll see how this turns out. All right. I'm looking forward to the next live eviction on Thursday. Are you? You have to leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. All right. And that's all I have. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow. I have gone over the 400 subscriber mark. Wow. And I've stayed there pretty consistently over the last month or so. So thank you for that. All right. My name is Danielle, and you're listening to my podcast, Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.